I'm Anthony Granato, and I'm here to talk about my process. So the first part on how I get started with my paintings is I go through all my frames. I have lots and lots of frames, and it's an important process because I start to really listen to the frame. It starts to tell me you want this type of color, you want this type of style, you want this type of design work to really accentuate both the painting and the frame. And once they're all laid out, I will find the lucky fella that gets started on first. I pretty much construct my initial concept for the piece in my mind, looking at the frame, and it starts to come together like jigsaw puzzles. As I'm working with those type of elements, I decide to sit down and draw a quick concept sketch. When I just start to work on how I'm going to convey this concept. Now that the sketch is finished, I scan it into my computer and arrange them in a design program along with other elements, really visually rich items to include in my compositions. And once I'm very happy with my composition, including photo elements, the textural elements, once they all come together, I'm ready to take and send that file off to a photo lab, and they print it out on really nice high quality photo paper. At that point, I get started on mounting it and get ready to do my base coats, and that provides a really nice ground paint on. I start with an acrylic underpainting. I bust out the toothbrush and I throw out my splatter, and from there, as it starts to dry, I like to get different elements in the composition. So for example, when some drips and splatters are about half dry, I like to take my hand and pull it off a bit, and I like to make sure that I constantly tweak things to have every little element work very well together. Now I bust out the oil paints. I work with a very limited palette. For me, the only thing I use is I use yellow ochre, cad red, burnt umber, and then cadmium blue, and then also white. Once I've refined my painting to where I want, what I like to do is I like to do different thicknesses of outlining. So I'll pick a unifying color and just a single color, and I'll outline the focal point. I like to give it some life and some variation, just depending on the look that I want. I really tweak it to make it look like it's just embracing the figure or the main subject of the piece. Most artists just sign their piece with their oil paints right afterwards. But what I do is I personally design each year the wax stamp, seal. What I do is I melt the wax and then I stamp it with my stamp. So this is where everything really comes together. Now it's ready to be put into the frame. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. You can find me at anthonygranato.com. If there's something very specific, very special that you would like me to be a part in creating for you, I love commission work. Thank you very much for spending the time to watch this video. It's a very intimate look at my creative process and creating my paintings.